Welcome, my dear students of class 9A and B, to my civics class. The same chapter, salient features of the Constitution of India. Points as I mentioned. Number 1, law and justice. 2, international peace and security. 3, welfare state. 4, fundamental rights and directive principles. And 5, classification of the directive principles. Number 1, law and justice. Law and justice. What is this? Law and justice. You know, fundamental rights are the most important rights of the citizens of India. In order to protect the fundamental rights of the citizens, they are supposed to, go to a court of law. Since fundamental rights are the rights justiciable to any court of law, so citizens whose fundamental rights are violated, they can go to any court of law. But usually the Supreme Court is the protector of the fundamental rights of the citizens. And now what is justice and law? Free legal aid service. Free legal aid has been made available to those who are unable to afford legal advice. And this is, this has been done in order to provide justice for all. Person having no money but has some problem regarding their property, regarding regarding their political complications. In that case, free legal aid service, free legal aid has been available to those who are unable to afford, legal advice. And this has been done in order to provide justice for all of us, justice for all of the people. The Panchayati Raj system also of rural self-government has been introduced in the country. The powers of the executive and the judiciary have been separated in all states except of Jammu and Kashmir and the northeast states, where it is difficult to maintain the government and there is a prevalence of considerable political turmoil. That's why law and justice also an important part of the country. This is done in order to provide facilities to the weaker sections of the society. That's why the government provides opportunities for the weaker sections of the society so that they must not be affected and their fundamental rights are not violated and they are not forced to go to any court of law. And next one, international peace and security. What is this? In a world dominated by superpowers, at present the world is dominated, earlier the world was dominated by two superpowers, America and Russia. India has tried to remain neutral by spreading, the concept of non-alignment in the free world. It has participated in friendly interactions and trade with the neighboring countries by the member of SAARC. It has adhered to the rulings of the United Nations or the definition of its borders. It has started meaningful dialogue with the neighbors who have been hostile. So these are the most important program of international peace and security on behalf of the world's international peace and security. The government of India had established a very vital role in establishing permanent solution, in establishing permanent international peace and security throughout the whole world. And next one. Welfare state. What is welfare state? The Indian Constitution contains certain principles. These principles are known as directive principles, which guides the government policies. towards taking responsibilities to provide for general welfare of the people in terms of livelihood, educational and health facilities, health services. The government is expected to try and improve the infrastructure of the country and work towards the better sharing of wealth between the rich and the poor. So this is known as welfare state. You know, the success of the government is also measured in relation to the attainment of the goals mentioned in the directive principles. That's why the definition law and justice, the definition of welfare state is nothing but the special concessions given to the poorer sections of the society. And apart from this, the famous sociologist T.H. Marshall rightly identified about the meaning or definition of social welfare or social state. The welfare state as a distinctive combination of democracy, who quoted T.H. Marshall, the most important sociologist of the world. He quoted it that welfare state is nothing but welfare state is a distinctive combination of democracy. T.H. Marshall said it. Welfare, he did not make he did not want to give a rise of capitalism. A welfare state is a concept of government in which the state plays an important role, a key role in the protection and promotion of the economic and social well-being of the citizens. And not only that, it is based on the principles of equality. It is based on the principles of equality of opportunity, equitable distributions of wealth, and public responsibility for those unable to avail themselves in the minimum provisions they deserve for ensuring a good life in the long run. Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Germany, the first Chancellor of Germany, created the modern welfare state. How? By building on a tradition of welfare programs in Prussia and Saxony. But there was a clash between Kaiser William II. This is not a part of your syllabus, my dear student, but for your extra knowledge I am explaining this one. The first Chancellor of Germany, Bismarck, and the King of Germany, Kaiser William II, both of them had some problem. Both of them had some egoic problem. There was a tug of war between Bismarck and Kaiser William II. But Bismarck wanted to establish a welfare state. Bismarck did not want to, destroy the interest of his country, Germany. He was the real patriot. He had no self-interest like Kaiser William II. Kaiser William II's aggressive nationalism would bring a complete failure in the long run. Bismarck knew. That's why Bismarck resigned from his post. But the definition of welfare state he gave was accepted by the people of the whole parts of the world. Why? Because of the knowledge he gained from the practical field. He shared it with other nations of the world. That's why he also obtained high respect from all the nations of the world. Who was he? He was Otto von Bismarck. And next one, fundamental rights and directive principles. What are the differences between the fundamental rights and the directive principles? Number one, fundamental directive principles aimed at securing welfare, social, and economic freedoms by appropriate state action. But fundamental rights are primarily aimed at assuring political freedom to the citizens by protecting them against excessive state action. The directive principles are given a place of permanence by the constitution makers. But the fundamental rights are given a pride of place by the constitution makers. There are socio-economic instructions meant for the establishment of a welfare state, but in fundamental rights, these are meant for citizens to share, to strive towards their fundamental, their individual good, and to protect them from they they protect them on the basis of their rights, because fundamental rights are justiciable to any court of law. Directive principles are non-justiciable, but fundamental rights are justiciable. Directive principle means no one can go to the courts to compel the state for their proper implementation. Hence, directive principle cannot be enforced by any court of law. But fundamental rights are justiciable, which means that any individual can move the courts seeking the legal assistance for restoring them their rights. Hence, fundamental rights can be enforced by a court against the state. So these are the basic differences between the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. Now, last point, classifications of the directive principles. What are the classifications of the directive principles? There are some classifications of the directive principles of state policy. Principles promoting economic equality, political and administrative principles, legal and judicial principles, fundamental principles, principles protecting national heritage, and principles promoting international peace, understanding, and security. So these are the classifications of the directive principles of state policy in order to make sure the image of the country, in order to increase national identities of the country, in order to increase powers and prestige of the country, in order to increase, political, social, cultural, and economic stabilities of the country. The directive principles of state policy work steadily. That's why it is said that the directive principles are nothing but the work of protecting the interest of the country, the interest of the people. But the directive principles of state policy is bound to work only for the nation, only for the country, not for the people, because people are given special rights, law and justice. They are given fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are justiciable to a court of law. Naturally, people can go to a court for proper justice, for establishment of their rights, and the right of equality is established, is given by the court. So, fundamental directive principle of state policy means the work for the nation, the work for the welfare of the nation, the work for the welfare of the people, universally, constitutionally, and absolutely. That's why the directive principles of the state policy has been working by each and every state government to make sure the welfare of the country and the all-round development of the country.